Like you got the guy from Amistad, DeJuan. I can't even say his name.
Mahensu,
right? And I was just looking at. I was like, this guy's intense. He's got the chops. He can do it, but yet he has not done a movie on his own yet. You know what I mean? Because he seemed to be a co-star or a supporting. Even if it was like second lead, you haven't seen his story. You know, he may have been helping somebody's story or something like that, helping another co-white actor's story or something like that. Going, you know what I mean? And I was just like, wow, you know, when we going to be able to break him out? And then some other folks, you see that they'll get up there. Like even I've looked at Terrence Howard to some degree too, and they still kind of partner him as even in this last movie, Fighting, and which I want to see still. But yeah, you'll see how they still put us like almost like our story isn't as interesting. We're great for help. We're great to add to somebody, but it sometimes feels like that. Like,
but you know, once the actors get to a certain level, it doesn't matter whether they're black, brown, purple, green. It has nothing to do with color. It has to do with money. And so decisions are made, let's say, about having Denzel in a picture versus Tom Cruise in a picture based on numbers. You know, and the subject matter, of course. I mean,
yeah.
Once they're at a certain level, you mean.
Once they're at a certain level.
Once they're at a certain level, yeah. I understand that Will Smith's biggest regret was turning down the role of Neo in Matrix. You know, so he turns it down, and then it goes to a white actor who then, you know, now he can hardly do any other films now because he's so known for Neo. You know, and but that's, you know, that's part of the star problem too.
Now, do you find it frustrating that Hollywood recycles actors and, you know, you want to obviously do more movies, do more projects, and, you know, you're kind of sitting there like, hey, pick me, like I'm a talented guy. Yeah. I have work to show for, you know, what's wrong with me, you know?
It can be frustrating. It can, but the best thing for any actor to do is to, you know, have a plan of your own track, you know, of creating and everything, because like you're asking me, it can get frustrating when you see you have a connection with, say, a director, you have a connection with the person that you're auditioning for, you get into deep talks, but then they say they went a different direction, And the most frustrating part would be if you did get a part after going through all that, because they'd finally look at you and say, wow, where have you been? You know what I mean? And you're like, I've been here all this time, but you've been going towards this. And there's so many other folks who like such talent, even all the talented actors in Pride, my co-stars in there that in Pride, they're awesome people, awesome actors. And Nate Parker, he got the breakout, you know, and other folks will say, where are they like that? But there's so many people talented like that are there, but they go for what they say, what's gonna put butts in the seats.
One of the things.
And I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay. One thing I notice is that you'll see that, like, also in Hollywood, they'll also take like unknown. This is where it can get frustrating too a little bit. Just where they take unknown white actors and take a chance on them and stuff. And when they take a chance on them, they see if they fly or fall or whatever. But you look at a movie and you're like, man, you never see a new one like that, a new black movie like Cooley High, or the new, you know, with all these new faces, new actors, and like they're gonna take a chance on them when people know them. So you just keep pushing.
You got to keep in mind though that a lot of stuff is going on behind the scenes there. So you might say, oh, they're taking a chance on this unknown white actor. That unknown white actor might happen to be Nicolas Cage, who just happened to be nephew to, you know, Francis Coppola. Okay. It
still will come down to it because of I guess a head start. Because even when you're saying like between money, after a while it gets to money. Well, that can be a chicken or the egg kind of thing, where which came first. You know, could it be the money, or could it be that they didn't get a chance to be worth that much money? You know what I mean? That they never got a chance to get to that level of being worth that much money. You know,
it's basically marketing. It's trying to figure out what is the biggest audience, and any minority group is a smaller audience. And so the idea behind what will draw them or who will come to see the movie is, and the money that they can put behind it is based on on the size of the audience. You know, so just in marketing in general. One of the things that's interesting in the book here is that I interview a bunch of very successful actors, TV stars, things like this, and they talk about how many years it took just to get noticed. And it's really it's a job of attrition. If you're a black actor out here, you just have to just keep going and keep doing it and stay at it, and eventually your break will come. You know, so as longer you stay in it, the more you're at it, and the more auditions you go to, the better your chance of making it.
It's funny because you see that. You see how like some folks that they were young in some movies, and now you see them coming out like on 24. You see them coming out on different movies. You're like, what? They stuck in there. I thought that actor was dead. I thought,
and it goes, for writers and directors as well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the same thing. It's that continuing staying at it and not letting it get you down.
Even Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly. Now, before we started the show, briefly, you were looking over TR's book, What I Wish I'd Known Before Moving to Hollywood, and you were saying, hey, this is interesting, I like what this says, without even having to go through the entire book. How accurately do you think he described what it's really like in Hollywood?
Well, from the brief little bit that I took a look at, I think that anything that is written with should I say, a grain of salt and a bit of wit about it is the way that the whole industry is. Especially young actors, you cannot take everything so seriously. You can't take everything personally because it has, unfortunately, talent has the least amount of importance in the equation. It goes to, again, the money, it goes to the personal connections. When somebody is read, when somebody goes to an audition or a reading, you as the actor think that the only thing that's going through that casting director or that director's mind is how good you are. Unfortunately, that's not the case. A lot of things are going through their minds as to is this person going to be worth as much as the other person that they're reading? What's their previous project? Are they going to be a breakout actor? Is something going to happen that is going to catapult them to stardom after they make the movie? There's a lot of other things.
Do they know that could get me connected myself, you know, later on?
Well, you know, I turned down, I'll tell you, I had a casting director come to me for Finding Home and said, you know, I want you to hire this guy. He's, you know, his name is James. He's really good. He's going places. I read the guy. I didn't feel he was right for the role. I didn't feel he was what I consider the best. The casting director got very upset with me. He said, "You don't know what you're, you don't know what you're missing here. You're a fool." So I turned down James Franco, and
nice move.
you know, and I put in a wonderful actor named Misha Collins, who's great. Co-starred in Girl Interrupted and on the series 24. But you know, I'd be driving a Porsche instead of a classic Benz right now if you know, if I had put in Franco.
Yeah, and I love what they were talking about too. You can't take it too seriously, man. You got to just let it roll.
Well, gentlemen, that's the time we have for today. I want to thank all three of you for joining me today.
Thank you.
You've been watching On Point. My name is DeJuan Hoggard. Have a great night.